All right, so in this video, I want to show how to make a pixelized material, and partly this is to document the process for posterity, but also so other people can help me set this up if we need to set up a lot of them. So first thing, you want to open Test Town with Pixelizer. It's just a copy of the demo scene from the Polygon Town asset pack, but I don't want to mess up the demo scene they provided just to keep it as a reference. So you want to go into Asset Scenes, Test Town with Pixelizer, or really any scene you want that's not the one that came with the asset pack. And then for my purposes here, so this is my game window. I can't click stuff, but I'm going to click the scene window up here, and I'm going to just duplicate this school bus. So Control D to duplicate it. And so we'll have like the original and then a new one that I'm setting up as a reference. And so then I'm going to go to my original, right? And I'm gonna click here where it shows me the material. So I click on it. It might be like collapsed too, so be prepared to expand that and click it. And you'll notice in the project window, you have to have your project window open. And if you have it open and you click here, it will highlight the material it's using. And I'm going to click on that, and it opens in the inspector. The problem with the inspector is as soon as you click something else, it'll change. So what I'm going to do is down here in this window I have open, you can set it up wherever you want, but I'm going to click on the three dots, and I'm going to click Add Tab, Inspector, and this is bigger than it needs to be, so I'm just going to dock it over there, and I'm going to lock it. Actually, I don't want to lock it yet. I want to click this material that I'm copying and lock that. So this inspector is unlocked. So if I change what I'm selecting, it changes. But this one is locked onto that material so that I can reference all the textures and maps that are on it. And then I'm going to go in our assets root directory, and I made this folder called materials. And so if you noticed, the one that we're going to set up a pixelized version of every material that we need to use. So this bus is using a material called Polygon Town 01 underscore A. So I'm going to right click in my materials folder, create a new material, and I'm going to call it I'm just going to call it Town 01 A pixel. That's good. I don't know. I don't know about all these underscores. Let's just do this. Town 01A pixel. There we go. And so now if I select this material and I were to like drag it onto our bus, you can see that it's different. And it just has no texture, so it's just coming in white. So this is the new one, and this is the original one, right? And then I need to, first things first, on my new material, change its shader. So I'm going to go into Pro Pixelizer, Scriptable Render Pipeline. That's what SRP means. And then I'm going to choose Pixelize with Outline. And so that immediately kind of has made it pixelized. But the next thing I have to do is set up the textures. So I'm going to expand Appearance, and this is where this reference is going to come in. So first of all, I'm going to kind of drag that preview down because it's not helpful to me. And I want to click where it says base map. If I just click that, again, if you have your project window open, if I click that, it'll show me where that lives and more importantly, what it's called. I guess what I could do now is just drag this into the albedo section here. That's what base map is, albedo. And then next, I want to do the normal map. The normal map for this lives here, it looks like to me. So I guess this thing is called Polygon Town Texture Normal A. So we'll drag that in. I'm not super clear why there's no normal map here, but there is down here. This is kind of confusing to me, so I don't know. we'll see if that becomes a thing later. And then the emission up here is this guy. So if I click that, it'll show me it's using this. So we'll drag that in. And we want to set up the emission color. So we'll just, I think if I right click on this color, I can hit copy. And I can go over to the emission color here and I can hit paste. And so that's the same, because some of the textures might have like red lights or who knows what. So we'll just copy it as a starting point. We can always customize stuff later. Now we're pretty close. In fact, I think this is like a good baseline, so you can kind of see the difference between the two. And at this point, I would point out that if you click this user guide, it will open a new window, and if you wanted to try to like make it look a certain way, I would go to where it says material setup, and you can read what each of these things do basically. So that might be helpful. I would say like let's not bother with the color grading thing. It seems to me like they have stuff built in to like make it emulate NES and stuff like that. I don't think we should try that yet. We can use post-processing color grading later if we want. But feel free to play around, just make commits first. So at this point, before I start experimenting radically, well, I have an awful lot of changes in here. So get in the habit of unchecking everything in your GitHub desktop and just look for the things that we know are important. So just to make sure this is all saving right, I'm going to go to File, Save the Scene, File, Save the Project. A lot of times you have to save the project to get materials to correctly save. And I'm going to go over here, and this was when I made the materials folder, so I want to commit that. You won't have to commit this because this is already going to exist. And then here's my new material, Pixel Town 01A. I do want to commit that. Everything has an associated meta file that is important to commit as well. So these would be the changes. And then I also changed that scene file. So you won't have nearly as terrible of a list to go through unless you're doing something crazy. And unfortunately, I don't think you can save through here. So I'm looking for assets, scenes. There it is. So I've actually never added this yet. When you do it, the meta will already be there because you only have to do that once, but then the .unity file is the actual scene file. So when I save the scene, this thing got changed. We have to be careful if multiple people are working on the scene file, we'll get conflicts. So what you could do is go to File, Save As, and you want to put scenes in the scene folder, and you could call it like Test Town with Pixelizer, like underscore, my name, David. And you could do that, and that way you're changing that scene and not the other one. That way we can avoid multiple people changing the same scene. So before I get creative, I just want to get this thing baseline committed. So I would say added Town 01 pixelized material, and I would commit that, and then I would click this will change to say push, and that's what you would do. I actually don't want to do that yet because I realize that the material I made depends on all this other junk that I haven't committed. So in my personal case, I'm actually not going to do that yet. In fact, I guess I might just commit all this together. This is like me adding the asset pack. But for you, that's how it'll go. All right. So let's say let me amend my comment here. Add pixelizer asset pack, and there we go. So I'll do that. This will take a minute because it's like 300 files. And while it's doing its thing, let's go through the process of doing another one just for fun. Let's say I want the road. What material is the road using? Polygon Town road. So I click it. I see it's this one. I'm going to unlock my inspector so that when I click it, this one takes in there. I'm going to lock it again. I'm going to go back to my materials. I'm going to make a new one. We'll call this road underscore pixel, and we're going to change the shader. So it's this pixelizer thing, SRP, pixelize with outline. I got to go add in all the maps to match this one. What is it using? This guy, so we drag that into there, and then the normal map, we drag that into there, and then emission, it doesn't have an emission, so I'm just going to copy the color and paste that, and then yeah, I guess that's what it's doing. So this one doesn't look terribly different. I mean, it looks different. Like, I don't know if it looks good. But so that will be something to look into. I don't know what will happen if we make all of the roads look like that, because this looks weird to me. Oh wait, what? Maybe I did something wrong here. Because like this one is road and this one is road patch. So I guess that's just a different model. So let's see what happens if I change this thing to use our new material we just made, which I guess I could. I'll just search road pixel. There we go. That looks really dark. So if you get results that we don't like, we can adjust it. Maybe what I would do is go back and find this material I was working on, and maybe I don't know. Maybe we could look at this thing with lighting. I haven't looked into that yet. We could change its ambient light amount. So to like more of a brighter color, maybe. Still looks really dark. It's weird. It seems to change based on the angle of the camera. So we might have to mess with that some. But room to experiment. I mean, maybe we don't even have to change the road. I'm not sure. We'll see. Well, it does give us like the pixelated edges or whatever. Yeah, so there we go. This is already too long of a video, but that's the process.